Hello, everyone. I'm Matt.
And I'm Maggie.
We are
Hopefully awesome.
That's right, a positive place on the internet where we nerd out and geek out and just hang out.
Talk about our closeted nerdiness.
That's right. That was in the extended cut, so be sure and head over to patreon.com/host. Hopefully, awesome.
You did hear it.
I didn't hear it. Oh, they didn't hear it. I thought you were saying I didn't.
You go sign up for Patreon.
Hey, but today it's Smallville time, baby. Yeah, we got it. Oh yeah, it's been it was a good week since the last time we all met to discuss.
God, that disgusting one.
The bug episode. Hey man, I don't have his name. Jeremy Kreuk? Is that his name? Greg Kreuk. Greg Grumberg.
Bugman.
Bug boy. Bug out and bug back. Big bad Beetleborgs. Hey, so before we get diving in, I guess we should get started.
I'm so sorry. I had to take the longest shot of my life.
That's okay. I was laughing because I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm not being a good run of the host or run of the show. So let's go ahead and jump in, Maggie. What do you say?
Okay.
I think it's time that
water's warm.
It looks like it's time, Maggie, because we're going back to Smallville. I had to get the tense correct. I kept wanting to say, let's go to Smallville. That's not, it's going back to Smallville. Why is that so hard? I came up with the name, and I can never remember the name. I'm ever asking Maggie, what are the names of everything?
I'm going to bring home those little Post-it notes from work, and I'm just going to tape it onto the tripod. This is back to Smallville.
I have 12,000
I'll do
Post-it notes, man.
I'll do it.
So, yeah, hey. Week 3, episode 3, season 1. We're back. So let's dive in here. Original air date, Smallville, season 1, episode 3, entitled Hothead. One word, Hothead. That's something you should know, Maggie. Every episode of Smallville is named one word.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Pilot, bug. No, it was Metamorphosis. And now that trend continues with Hothead. I think in season 9, they had 2 episodes, and then the CW was like, "Hey, what if we release this as a 2-hour event?" And they named it, I think it's Absolute Justice is what they named it. But the 2 individual episodes were named one thing. But I guess in the Blu-ray or the DVD, I can't remember which one, but it's labeled as the 2-hour thing, and so it has the 2 words. And, yeah, but the original writing, I can't say the names because it might give some stuff away.
Batman.
Well, let's see, this will be in 4 years. So one is titled Legacy, I think, either Legacy or Legends, and the other episode is titled Society. I'm just going to leave it at that. Oh, man. I can't wait, dude. In 4 years, Smallville, you're going to love it. So anyway, Smallville, season 1, episode 3, Hothead. Original air date was October 30th, 2001, the day before Halloween. It was written by, I have these flipped. It was written by Michael Watkins and Philip Sgriccia. Sgriccia.
Sgriccia.
And it was directed by Greg Beeman. Now, Maggie, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Greg Beeman is he's a reoccurring director on Smallville. I think he directs every finale and premiere, at least through season 4.
Okay.
And then he comes back on and off for the rest of the series. He also directed the series finale. Okay. Yeah, he's awesome. He also worked on Heroes. He directed a few episodes on Heroes. And there's actually this website. This is way too deep. There's this website called Krypton Site back in the day. Mm-hmm. The guy that ran Krypton Site also had another site called Neptune Site, which was a fan run website for Veronica Mars, right?
Aww.
And then he also spun out another website called Hero Site, which was about heroes, right? So Greg Beeman would like interact with it. This is back in the day when you could actually interact with people on the internet and it not suck, right? So he would interact with it, and one day they were filming an episode of Heroes that he was directing, and Peter was there, Peter Petrelli, and Kristin Bell is actually in season 2. I don't know if I've told you that. We stopped at season 1, so Kristin.
I feel like you did.
Kristin Bell was there, and then stopping by just to say what's up was Michael Rosenbaum, and so Greg Beeman was like, "Hey, come over here. I've got a guy that will love this." And so they took a picture of Peter and I can't remember his name. Milo. I'm blanking on it. But Peter Petrelli, Kristin Bell, and Michael Rosenbaum. And so it was, Lex, Veronica, and Peter Petrelli. And they took the picture together and sent it to the guy that ran the fan sides.
Oh, wow.
And so that was like for each one. So he used it as like the banner because it was Krypton site, Neptune site, and Hero site all together. Anyway, that's one of the things about Greg Beeman that I remember. So he's a cool dude. And he knows how to direct a show. I mean, when we get to the finales, they're so good. Oh my gosh. Those are always the best ones, the premieres and the finales. All right. Quick synopsis. Coach Walt Arnold is obsessed with winning. Meteor rocks in his sauna have given him the power to cause objects to burst into flames. Clark Kent defies his father and joins the football team. Lana Lang defies expectations, quits cheerleading, and waits tables. Lex Luthor defies his father in a business plan that saves several people their jobs. The coach attacks the principal, a player, and a journalist before Clark stops him. This is Hothead. Maggie, what was you going to say?
That coach is crazy. Like, I mean, I played volleyball and basketball and stuff, and like we had a coach that was mostly volleyball wins. I think he had like over. Wait, no, I'm getting confused with that. No, he had close to like 500 wins.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
But like, he wasn't crazy like this guy is. Like, but
I mean, this is obviously a show.
Yeah, I know, but still, yet there are
coaches like that.
There are coaches like that in small towns like that think that they have the run of the show just because of who they are and how much they win and all they bring to the school and stuff. So yeah. Yes. So that stuff happens, man.
Oh yeah.
Them covering up crap like that in the show. Even covering cheating.
Even at my school, like full of 40 people, right? From like kindergarten through senior. Like it was a tiny school. I mean, they would even have crap like this happen,
Oh yeah.
It was so dumb. But yeah, Maggie, what are your thoughts of Hothead before we dive into our recap?
I think I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like even though the crazy crap happens, I'm just like, why?
Well, I agree. I feel like this is one of the first ones that kind of starts falling into like standard Smallville stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was I mean, we had the bug guy episode last week, right? Which was trying a little harder, right? But this one, you got the Lana and Clark stuff. They're able to interact a little bit more in this one, which is good. You got, of course, the Clark and Lex stuff. You got some high school going on. You got Chloe doing reporting stuff. And even Jonathan, once we get into it, starts getting a little bit better. He's not so insane. He's not a
beat
dick.
His head in. God.
But yeah, so I feel like this one really, I think because we finally get an episode without Algo Miles Miller, I think that it kind of starts to become find its own way. Like this is a teen superhero show, right? In some ways it reminds me of Buffy. Like this show definitely falls into that in the early seasons.
It's got the formula.
Yeah. I mean, you got the freak of the week, super powered kid, can't tell anybody. He's got the close group of friends.
Yeah.
course, he doesn't have anybody to talk to about his powers.
No, he doesn't have no Giles.
That's true. Or Xander or Willow. You know, I mean, sure, he's got Pete and Chloe, but they don't know. So
Pete's just, we
gotta give Pete something to do.
Pete needs something, man. He's just sitting on the bench on the football team. He's there.
Would you think it would be a better show if they recast Pete with Pete Wentz from Fallout Boy? Hey, you. Yeah, you. Come over here. Did you know that you can get exclusive content at patreon.com/hopefullyawesome?
You can?
Yeah, huh? Just head on over to patreon.com/hopefullyawesome. Get all the details right now.
But wait, there's more.
There is?
Yeah, to celebrate the launch of our new Patreon, all of our new patrons will receive a special reward.
A special reward? Well, Maggie, what is it?
If all of our patrons sign up before May 1st, their name will show up on every episode of the Hopefully Awesome show for a whole entire year.
A whole entire year? That's crazy.
So head on over to patreon.com/hopefullyawesome to find out more stuff right now. No?
Hey, let me tell you, when we do Two Tree Hill podcast, Pete Wentz is gonna come up multiple times. Okay.
What?
Pete Wentz is a reoccurring character in one of the seasons of One Tree Hill.
What?
I love that. Like I keep telling you little things about One Tree Hill.
Didn't you say Kristin Bell shows up on One Tree Hill or something?
Kristin Bell?
Yeah.
No.
You said somebody else shows up in it. Oh, or no, it was the OC.
Oh yeah, that was Chris Pratt is in that show.
I'm like, why haven't we been watching the OC?
Oh well,
God, that show's so dramatic. God.
Yeah, I will say that's one thing I like about Smallville is that it's a little more subdued than that. Like, even though it's a teen drama, it doesn't go as far as like Dawson or One Tree Hill or the OC. Like it stays pretty tame for the most part, which I enjoy because that just gets a little too extreme. So anyway, let's go ahead and start recapping the episode. Okay, now we open up. It's raining. You got the Foo Fighters playing. It's not the Foo Fighters. I'm trying to think of what movie it was that plays There Goes My Hero. Varsity Blues. That's one.
I've never watched that.
You've never seen Varsity Blues?
No.
Maggie, the only cure for the Monday Blues is Varsity Blues.
And I lived in the same house as somebody that owned it, and I never watched it.
I don't want your life. There it is. Dawson. Again. Think about it. Alright, so we open up in the rain, and what's happening? Football. That's right, it's Friday night, and the lights are low, and we're going to throw us around some pigskin and play grab ass with each other. So, it's raining so much, and Whitney Fordman, he just can't see the guy, so he goes up to Coach, and Coach's like, the heck you doing, boy? And he's like, Coach, I can't see. It's raining too hard. He's like, you don't need to see. You need to do what I tell you.
It's not a democracy.
Yeah.
And he's like, and you've ran this play so many times. You know where that boy's at. And you can throw the ball, run the same play again. And here I'm sitting there. I was like, that sounds like a really bad idea to run the same play again in football.
That's true, yeah. But what does Whitney do? He goes out, he closes his eyes, he lets that thing sell like he's Matt. I'm like Saracen.
Yeah, I remember his name.
Hey, good job. I remembered the Matt part. I wonder why. So what do? They win. And Whitney says, quote, they're going to be eating crow tonight.
And it's all thanks to Coach Walt.
Whitney is a suck up to Coach. I've got that on here.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, Coach Walt.
I'm like, I'm sorry. In all my years of athletics, I've never heard after a game that we won that somebody stands up and says, and I'd like to think Coach blah, 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 never. Maybe he had like a sports banquet later in the year, but like,
no.
That never.
Yeah, I don't
ever. Think. That is so.
Yeah. Unless we just didn't have good coaches. Like maybe I'm thinking about like movies and stuff. Maybe like Coach Carter or something.
But like that just made me laugh. I was like,
yeah,
no player thinks that, especially if that coach is as mean as he is No, it's no.
They'd hate him. God, he'd be making them run like suicides and stuff. You know? So then, of course, they win. And what does Coach need to do after hanging around with a bunch of teen sweaty boys?
Go sit in the sauna and sweat it out more.
His self off. I was gonna say
be
balls.
pretty.
But so he just sweats, right? And he's like, "Oh man, this is good." And then
throw some more water on the rocks.
But what? Oh, the rocks are glowing.
And guess what? The steam's green, y'all.
Oh, so we got some meteor stuff going on here.
Yeah. Guess what? Guess who might get the superpowers?
I wonder.
Not Pete.
So Coach Walt then sat in there and tap on the door. Principal Quan walks in. Maggie loves
Principal Quan. Let's go, boys. Guess what? Principal Quan doesn't give a flying flip about.
I didn't know what was getting ready to be said.
You said something else earlier, so I can trick you now.
That's true.
Principal Quan doesn't care about football.
That's right.
He
this
cares
ain't
about
Texas. This is Kansas.
He cares about academics. And he said that 7 of the football players were caught cheating on the math midterm.
He said, "Well, let's just keep it quiet until after the
playoffs,
games, and then we'll deal with it in the off season."
And Principal Quan's like, "No, they're suspended from football until."
Do you know what my next game is, Quan? It's my 200th game.
It doesn't matter if you're 200th.
It's my legacy. You've been here for 6 months and you don't know.
Well, I'll be honest, Coach Walt. I'm not scared of you. Everybody else is, but I don't care.
And then Quan says, "F you," and he leaves. And then Coach Walt is like, "I'm so angry I could just burst into flames."
He does this.
He hits a towel on the desk, and then it just catches on fire.
And he just stands there and stares at it. And that's
there's another scene.
Yeah.
That gets worse.
But it gets worse. But then you're like, you're not.
Yeah, like worried? You're not even freaked out a little bit. Like,
I mean, he looked a little bit freaked out, but like he was like okay with it after.
Yeah. Well, when the rage is just seething inside of you, and sometimes it'll come back to get you.
All right.
So then, of course, he hits it, fire, freaks out, and then we shut off. We go to black, and Maggie, what happens? Somebody save me! And then we watch the credits, and Pete's still in his football outfit. So, so the next, I can't remember, is it Lex here? Is this where Lex pops in? Or do we join Clark at the school, and Chloe's like, "Oh, the football kids are, they cheated."
It goes to the high school.
Okay.
It goes to the high school, then it goes to Lex.
Yeah. Okay. So then Clark's like, "I don't see what the big deal is, Chloe," or something like that. And then
did you say Clark said that?
Yeah, but
that's Whitney.
Well,
it's Whitney
Clark's
telling it
like,
to Lana, like, "Oh, it's no big deal."
Oh yeah,
they're my
like,
friends.
I think it's a great big deal, Whitney.
Yeah, they cheated, Whitney.
He's like, "What's the big deal?"
Who went throughout high school without cheating?
Whoa, Maggie, let's not worry about that. So then, of course, Chloe's taking pictures with her little camera that takes a 3-inch floppy disk, and it's great, right?
Yeah,
digital, love it.
I think I remember one of the schools having those kinds of cameras back in the day.
And then Pete's sitting there, and next thing you know, one of the football guys is throwing the football at Chloe, and Clark catches it one-handed. And Pete's like, "Oh, nice catch." And Chloe's like, "Oh, I almost died." And that's all you can say is nice catch. And then Clark's like, "Oh, football." And then he throws it back at the guy, right? And what
guess
happens?
Who's watching?
Coach Walt. And he's like,
"You got no idea.
Can't throw a football." He's just angry the whole time, Maggie. The whole time.
He's talking through his teeth the whole entire time. He's like, "Oh, kid, you got an arm like your daddy. Why don't you come play football for me?"
Yeah, he's like, "It's in your genes, boy."
I'm adopted.
Clark, this is good. He starts feeling himself a little bit in this, And he's like, Whitney, you think this Clark boy's got what it takes?
Whitney's like, yeah, I guess.
like, he has potential. It kind of, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of The Matrix. Like when the guy buys the hacking equipment off of Neo at the beginning. And he's like, what do you think? And the girl with the white rabbit tattoo, he's like, what do you think? You think we should bring him along? And she's like, definitely. Yeah. Like, I feel like Coach is the drug addict and Whitney is the white rabbit in this moment, right? Which definitely. Neo's kind of like Superman. Think about it, right? So maybe I should put that in the DC references. It's not anything. So then Clark's like, yeah, I'm going to play. And then Pete's like, oh, yeah, well, what about your dad? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. He's like, no, that's what I thought.
Pete's like, remember the last time, your dad said what did he say, Clark?
He said no.
He said no.
And then it's like, yeah, he said no. That's what I thought. It's like, shut up, Pete. Nobody even likes you. Get out of here.
Like, right there, like, it's so deep in my heart. I'm like, maybe Jonathan, just be cool with it this time,
Hey, maybe,
I mean, the coach has shown interest.
It's been 2 episodes. Surely Jonathan Kent has changed his mind, right?
We can, start to like Jonathan,
Surely. So then we skip on over to Lex's castle, where the 3 wise men walk in, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And Lex is like, oh, hey, what's up, jerks? And they're like, hey, you suck at running this place. He's like, yeah, tell me about it.
It's down by 20%.
He's like, well, I'm going to increase my staff by 20%. Yeah. They're like, you're crazy, Lex. He's like, oh, I'm crazy. And they're like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, say hello to your sister for me, and punches him in the dick. And so then the 3 wise men leave, right? Lex is like, I'm getting out of here and I'm going back to Metropolis because that's where I belong. I don't need to stay in this crap factory no more, right? All right, so then we go over to the Kent farm, right? And now Clark's
he didn't say any of those things.
That's close to it. He did say hello to your sister for
Yeah,
me.
he did, but that's not with all the other colorful language you used there, buddy.
I saw... You have to use some embiggen talk when you do one of these recaps. Okay, that's a Captain Marvel reference. Or a Miss Marvel reference. Head. Alright, so then Clark then goes home, right? And he's like, hey, Dad, guess what? I just made the football team. And nobody says anything. He's
Crickets chirping.
Jeez, don't everybody say congratulations at once.
Once.
Yeah, and then his mom... or his dad is like,
I'm not signing the permission slip, Clark.
He's like, yeah, well, I don't need you, Dad. You're not my real dad anyway.
You tell me to make my own decisions all the time, Dad. And you know what? I'm making the decision to play football, whether you like it or not. Like teenage angst. Yes.
Yeah.
Rebel.
But then Maggie, at the same time that Clark joins the football team, we go across the street to Lana's house. What's Lana doing? She's quitting cheerleading.
I'm putting it all in a box, even though it secretly belongs to the high school. That's what's going through my mind. I'm like, that should be going in the back of your closet. Like, that should be going to the high school.
Even if you pay for the uniform, you have to go back?
I mean, their rules might be different, but I mean, where I played...
Yeah.
The school paid for that stuff. Like, you raised the money and they basically paid for it. So you didn't keep it unless it was a retired uniform. Like, not varsity nor JV was going to wear it. And I actually have one.
Oh, really? Yours got retired?
Well, not mine necessarily. Well, wait, was it mine? I can't remember. But, like, I have a jersey that I wore.
Yeah.
But we could, if you quit, you had to return everything.
Oh, yeah, I guess quitting would be different rules.
Unless you paid for the shoes yourself.
So you could keep the shoes.
Yeah.
They probably smelled like feet.
Yeah.
But then Aunt Nell was just like...
I've had to return basketball shoes. That's yeah.
Aunt Nell was like, Lana, you're stupid, okay? I'm your aunt. Your parents are dead. I gave you a rock, and you're going to do what I say, Lana.
No.
And Lana's like, no, thanks, Aunt Nell. I'm putting the nail in the coffin on this, and I'm quitting cheerleading, and you could shove it up your butt. Nell is like, all right, fine, do what you want, but you're gonna miss out on, you're on a good track with Whitney. He's gonna go to Metropolis. You're gonna ride his coattails all the way to met you, Lana. That's what's gonna happen. She's like, I don't want your life, Dad.
Okay. Anyways, Lana, after she packs away stolen high school merchandise, her Aunt Nell comes in. She's like, but it's such a good opportunity for you to make friends, and you're in a really good place. And I'm like, that's not good. That's the worst thing you could push on somebody.
She's 14, Nell. All right. Let her live her life. Let her figure stuff out. Maybe she wants to.
She says she wants to get a job. I mean,
no, wait. She does get a job. Can you get a job at 14? Isn't that child labor laws?
You have to have a signed
permission slip.
Signed permission slip because.
Can her Aunt Nell sign it? Because her parents are dead.
Well, that's her Aunt Nell adopted her. Huh? Another adopted.
Her and Clark have so much in common. That's crazy. They both lost their parents on the day of the meteor shower. Although Clark's was like 100 light years away.
Yeah, it was also the cause.
But I digress. So then, we go to school and Clark's on the football field, get ready to play some two-hand touch, if you know what I'm saying.
And guess who walks in to watch?
Good old reliable Jonathan Kent.
He
comes
does
strolling in with his cowboy boots, just cling, clang, clang, clang. And then he takes the cigar out of his mouth, and he's like, Clark, you listen here, Clark. I'm not here to watch you. I'm here to make sure nobody gets hurt, Clark. And Clark's like, thanks, Dad. And so then...
Did you put some in this Coke?
I wish. So then...
Stop. There's going to be actual people that want to hear...
No. They want this. They don't want to hear an accurate description of the show.
They watch the episode. No, Matt. You can't go off the rails like this. Jonathan shows up. He's not happy. He's not proud of Clark. He's just there to see if Clark will screw up.
That's right. He still sucks. That's what I've got on here.
Yeah.
So then Clark starts playing football, right?
Yeah.
And Whitney's like, all right, go Clark. And then Clark gets sacked, right? And then Whitney's like, hey, tackle him again. He likes Lana. And so then... It was implied.
No, they said, run it again, boys.
Yeah, and Coach Walt's like, can't you make this work? And so then Clark...
Don't worry about your daddy, Clark.
And then Clark's like, all right, well, you know what? Here we go. And what does Clark do? He starts hitting dudes and holding the football behind him, and he gets a daggone touchdown on his second try. And Jonathan Kent's like, oh, geez. It took him like 40 seconds to lose every rule that he said he would follow. He's done.
I thought it was really strange. The stunt person that was playing Clark in this made me giggle a little bit when
was
watching.
Was it not Tom Welling?
It didn't look like him because he's jumping over a person. I'm not saying that
he kicks his feet.
Like he started doing a victory run as a touchdown. I'm like, whoa! I don't think Clark would be quite that brave enough to start doing a victory dance.
Listen, when you have been, just held back for 12 years, okay?
Have you been held back for 12 years?
I was. That's why I'm still in high school at this moment. Grade 24. No, like when you've been held back, sometimes you just gotta let loose, baby. All right? You just gotta let loose and break all the rules that you promised your dad that you never would. And it's only been 40 seconds, but you did. And so Coach Clark, or Coach Walt is feeling pretty good about himself. So what does Coach Walt do? He goes back into his office, and does he get in the sweat box? I don't remember. He does something.
I think he does get in the sweat box for a little bit, but he comes back out, and he's sitting in his office, and Principal Kwan comes in.
Principal Kwan's like, I got one of them, Coach.
He said one of them came up front and said that, they know who supplied the math midterm to the answers. And like Principal Quan's like, yeah, I know who it is, but I'm not going to say who it is. You know?
Student?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also, I know who did it, like who gave him the answers, but I'm not going to say it.
Well, he says you. He calls
yeah,
Coach
yeah,
out.
yeah. He says you did it. But, and he's like, there won't be enough people to believe you. The whole entire board, I put them there. I put all these people in. And then, you know, like back in like school, you saw the TV cart roll in, big old box TV on top. Well,
yeah, good day.
Coach Walt sets it on fire.
He sets that on fire, and Quan's like, "Oh my god,
yeah, they're
how
all
does this
standing
happen?"
there looking at the TV
It's
that's
like,
on fire.
Can somebody get a freaking fire extinguisher? Like, Quan just straight up leaves, goes to his car, and it's like the building is still on fire. Like,
you are in charge of
you
this
see
board.
Coach Walt looking through a window, and there's flames, like tall flames behind him, and just nobody's calling 911. Nobody's checking on the fire extinguisher. I mean, it's pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
And so then Clark, he comes in, or he's walking out with Pete. He's like, Pete, man, that was great. Good game, good game. He smacks him on the butt, right? And then he's like, oh my God, that car's on fire.
But also, anytime they show Coach Walt using his powers, he puts his hand out.
Yeah.
He puts his hand out on the window while he's watching Principal Quan get into his car.
Hey, man. You ever tried to use the Force?
Close his eyes, and you see him thinking so hard, like, I want this car to be set on fire.
Well, Maggie, how else would you use pyrokinesis? Huh?
I don't know. I just think it was funny just to see an old man.
It's a Principal Quan.
Like
Principal Quan sitting in his car like he's what? What are you going to say? Like he's praying? I knew that's where he's going to go. Good Lord. It's the Principal Quan's just sitting in his car. Next thing you know, the dashboard's on fire. He's like, holy hell, I got to get out of here. Oh my God. He tries breaking the window and he can't. He tries to grab this window and he's like, can't, you know.
I feel so bad for him.
And then
Because you can
Clark's
tell
like,
he's not paid
fire,
enough.
fire bad. And Clark runs over there and grabs the door and he pulls Quan
Principal
out of there,
Quan.
which he pushes Pete, and he's like, Pete, go get help.
Yeah,
like,
Pete, go call 911. Go.
And then, Coach Walt's like, oh my God, that Kent boy's going to be the end of me. Let me, 25 years. And so then, I don't know what happens next.
It shows them back at the Kent home, and Martha said,
I'm really proud of you.
Said,
Quan's gonna
if it
make
wasn't for you, Principal Quan would be, dead.
And John's like, anybody see you use your powers, you son? He's smoking his cigar. He's angry.
I was waiting for the rest of that, you son.
Well, I mean, like, because that's his son.
Okay.
I didn't say son of a.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
And then he's like, geez, Dad, why can't you be proud of me? And he leaves. And he probably grabs a jug of milk on his way out, And Jonathan's like, man, where did he get this from? And Martha's like, gee, I don't know. He's like, well, I wasn't like that, Martha.
Oh, this wasn't the boy that ran away one summer to go try out for the Metropolis Sharks and all this other stuff.
He's like, Martha, I told you I had to go try out for the Metropolis Sharks so I could get away from those damn screaming horses. The horses were screaming, Martha. I had to get away from them.
Why does it sound like you're quoting The Ring?
I'm in blackout. Oh my God, things are going dark.
She doesn't like the barn.
Dark.
The horses keep her up.
Oh my God. Oh Lord. No. Anyway, sorry. I didn't want an episode to go by that I didn't mention screaming horses. So then we go to the coffee shop, right? And Clark's never gotten coffee in his life, but all of a sudden he's getting coffee for some reason. And and Chloe's there and Pete. And they walk in.
Guess who's working there? Lana. God.
Yeah.
I can't get rid of her.
She was definitely having a bad day again.
Yeah.
And then so she's getting her stuff, and then he's like, "Hey, Lana, where's your necklace at, Lana?" And she's like,
no jewelry policy.
He's like, "Oh, Schooler, you got any milk back there, Lana. I could use some drug milk.
Well, in the midst of all this, whatever, God, I apologize. I'm trying to be nice because this is my first time watching this and trying not to fully ruin my experience.
It's great. I'm having a great time.
No, you're tired. You're running on like 5 hours of sleep. And you know what this reminds me of? When you used to the paper out.
Oh, man. One day we'll have to talk about the paper out. Today's not that day.
But I know. But I'm just saying that's what kind of crazy you are.
What was you going to say while all this is going on?
While Lana, was saying, having a horrible day,
Yeah.
can't tell the difference between this and that, blah, 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 blah. And Matt's like, she should be shadowing somebody.
Yeah, seriously, like the manager's like, Lana, those people have been waiting for 5 minutes on their coffee. And it's like, woman, has she been trained? Like, it's her first day. And like, she's alone in a rush.
Rachel
like, it's an 8 p.m. rush.
Had more experience than Lana on her first day.
Yeah, this is messed up.
So,
where's Gunther,
While all this is happening, Chloe notices all the football players get up and go. All the 7 football players that
Coach wants to see us on the field.
Coach wants to see us. And then
Riggins, get over here.
Chloe doesn't say anything to Pete or Clark about where she's going, all by herself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's bad right there.
She's like, I guess
she needs
I got to get out of here.
So she follows them over to the football field, and lo and behold, sprinklers are running, and Coach Walt's there.
Coach Walt's like, all right, you listen up, you sons of guns. I want to know which one of you talked, because I've been coaching for 25 years, and you better not talk about it. And then he's like, Coach, if we're caught cheating, we can't even get into college. He's like, it was you! It was you! And he starts burning his flesh off, and then fire's shooting out of the sprinklers, which he can cause water into fire. I mean, does it make him...
I'm sorry, I was like, did he burn him there? I don't think he did yet.
It doesn't matter.
But also, chemistry... H2O
maybe
into
it's electric fire. Or oil fire. Water can't put that out.
There's something else in those sprinklers.
What if it's magic fire, Maggie, caused from meteor rocks, all right? Do you think they had water on Krypton? No, I don't think they did. They had steam. That's why he's in a sauna.
Bo, 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 bo.
So then we move on, and it's, I don't know, maybe the next day.
And Chloe's like, look at this picture right here.
Yeah.
And she's
the
like,
boy's
Clark,
not been burned yet.
Yeah,
sorry.
no. And she's like, Clark, you need to get blah, blah, blah to talk. I think his name was Terry.
Maybe he did.
No, he didn't get burned yet. Because Coach Walt catches him talking
to Chloe. Yeah. He's like, talking to the press, huh?
Yeah.
After I've been coaching for 25 years. And so Chloe's like, oh, man. This is nuts. I'm going to go to the torch and write this up.
Yeah.
And then...
the guy wouldn't talk to her. He wouldn't tell her.
Yeah.
And she's like, so Clark, can you go talk to blah, 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 since you're on the football team and see if Coach Walt really did supply them with the test? And Clark's like, Coach would never do anything like that.
I've known him all of 48 hours, Chloe, okay?
Clark
I think I have a good idea of what this man does, all right? And so then Clark goes to check on this guy, and he's surrounded by fire extinguishers. Finally, someone thinking smart, right? He's like, oh, this dude can catch stuff on fire.
Yeah.
I should hide in a corner.
I feel like even though he's surrounded by like 5 fire extinguishers, I feel like there was another ring on the outside of that was like gas cans or something. I mean, nothing made any sense about what he had laid out.
He's a 15-year-old football player for Coach Walt. Okay?
But then Clark's like, hey, what's wrong? And he's like,
what's wrong?
And he's like, I'm not telling you anything. And Clark's like, did Coach give you the test? And he's like, no, he didn't. Clark's like, let me see. Who did this to you? Who hurt your arm? And he's like, Coach did it to me. Coach gave us the test.
Unwraps, he sees Maggie's best special effects in the whole show so far. Yeah. A paint hand on him. Yeah. I thought it looked like strawberry jam. That's just me. So then, I don't know if this happens yet, or if it already happened, but we go back over to the Luthor mansion, and old Lionel walks in with his lion's mane.
Hair.
He's like, Lex, my boy, you need to fire 20% of your staff from the crap factory.
Gonna make it. And if you need an empire, blah, 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 like using war terms and stuff. And I was like, no, that's probably why everybody hates you all.
And Lex is like, you know what, Dad? This
is my plan.
Yeah, he says, Dad, you have no idea what I'm capable of. Fun fact, that quote is what Dwight says on The Office. It's that exact quote when he's trying to get his pay raise in the season 2 episode. Mm-hmm. And he's like, Michael says, oh, who said that? Or he says, and then I think Lex Luthor said it best when he said, Dad, you have no idea what I'm capable of. And Michael says, was that Superman? And Dwight says, no, Smallville. And that's the line that made me fall in love with The Office. There you go. I think my brother Billy actually played me that. Just that one line. It was like, you need to watch it. I was like, okay. He also showed me the one where Dwight has a dead goose. And Toby tells him to scan it in his car. I digress. So, that was the thing. So then, a couple hours later, we go to the coffee shop, right? It's the next day. Lana's there. Who else is there? Clark. Who else is there? Lex. Here it is, people. The trifecta.
And I'm like...
The big three.
And I'm sitting there like, is Lex gonna steep some tea?
Or is he gonna steep a cappuccino? Am I right? So then Lex is talking to Lana and Clark talks, and then they order coffee and Lana brings back something that's just not it at all.
Not at all a cappuccino that Lex ordered.
Yeah, but they all decide that they're going to do what they want to. Lex is going to beat Lionel. Lana is going to keep making coffee, I guess. And Clark's going to play football or something. I don't know. So then everybody's moving on with their lives, right? So we go back and it's the next day. It's time for the big game, right?
Yeah.
And so who shows up to support Clark this time?
Jonathan and Martha.
Oh, wait. They do show up, but Clark's not out there. What happened to Clark? Well, moments earlier, Clark went to go talk to Coach.
Man. What? Did we talk about the torch being torched up? Did I black out?
That's not yet.
No, that happened at a bonfire the night before the big game.
Oh, dang, you're right. Yeah. So this was after the coffee. Yeah. They go to the bonfire.
Yeah.
I thought this was where Clark was, but no, you're right. He was in the sauna. Okay, so
sorry.
Clark's like, you know what, Lana? I'm going to go to the bonfire. And so Clark goes to the bonfire, and they're like, oh, fire's good.
And Clark asks Pete, hey, where's Chloe? Oh, she decided to go work on the paper. And it shows Chloe typing away on her little Mac.
How did she push her mouse? Didn't she do something?
I was like, here's my mouse.
Don't click anything.
It's like this. Like, not even near the buttons. It's like here. I'm like, how's that work? And lo and behold, did the coach come in there and
Coach was standing at the fire exit.
Yeah, he's standing at the fire exit. Praying.
He's like, I've been sitting here for 25 years, Chloe. I'm not going to let some damn reporter take away my legacy.
Her computer just immediately ignites. And she actually starts freaking out like a normal person.
Obviously.
And she tries to,
run away,
but it's following her.
Follows her, right? So then she's like, oh, a window. I'll wait for help, right? And Clark's just sitting there.
Out of all the people that were there, rather than yelling, help, somebody help me, she goes, Clark!
But you can see the flames again, and no one's reacting. No one's saying anything.
Everybody else is too entranced by the other bonfire.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a large window. It's not like this is, super hearing in action or anything, So then Clark runs in, and he's like, oh, Chloe, and the fire dies down, and she's like, oh, Clark, and then Coach Walt's like, that kid boy burn. So then the next morning, I don't know. The next morning,
the next day was
football, right? Yes. Jonathan and Martha show up, and they're like, we're here to support our son.
Go team.
Yeah, and Jonathan actually has a growing moment.
Yeah.
He grew a little bit.
But then they realize, hey,
Where's Clark?
Where's Clark at? Where's...
wait, we still skipped over it. Oh, so before moments earlier, Clark finally says, you know what? I'm going to go talk to Coach Walt. This might have been where he found the boy that had the handprint on him. He might have saw that first and then went to talk to Coach Walt.
Yeah,
that's probably the
because he was supposed to be with Pete and Chloe before the game.
Yes. So then Clark goes and talks to Coach Walt. He's in the sweat box. And he's like, Coach Walt, I know what you've been up to.
I know you supplied the math midterm answers.
And I know you've been setting people on fire, Coach. He's like, Kent, I should have known. Never trust a kid that's adopted. I've been working here for 25 years, and you're not going to take it away from me. And Clark's like, oh no. And he's like, I can't take the heat, can you, Kent?
Yeah, and then he throws him into the sauna, making him knock over the rocks.
He punches him in the gut.
Okay, punches him in the gut.
Punches a 14-year-old in the gut.
And locks him in a sauna.
Like, even if there wasn't meteor rocks, like, this is still highly dangerous.
It is highly dangerous.
He's going to kill this kid. Granted, he's been killing people with fire this whole time, so I guess, it's not too out of character. But still... Like, you're going to kill this kid in a sauna.
So poor old Clark is just laying there, and you see his hands turning gray. And so he decides to start throwing rocks. Well, while he's throwing rocks at this tiny little window.
I'm so thirsty. I could use a jug of milk. How about now?
So while he's throwing rocks at this itty-bitty window inside the sauna, Jonathan decides to run in and try to find his son.
Well, he goes to things like, hey, Pete, have you seen Clark? And then Coach Walt's like, hey, Kent, I told you, you know the rule. Ain't no parents supposed to be here.
He said, well, where is Clark at?
He said, I don't know. I guess he ain't got what it takes.
And then Jonathan's like,
I thought I had more to say. I didn't have more to say. So Clark's like, I'm going to go find my son. Or Jonathan says, I'm going to go find my son, right? And he goes in and he's like, oh, what's that? What is that? The steam box? I could go for a nice steam right about now. And he opens the door and there's Clark. And he's like, hey,
no, he
Clark.
had to bust the door down to get to Clark.
Yeah, it's like bust the door down and then he gets Clark.
Quit it.
But then what happens? Coach Walt shows up, and Clark's like, F you, Walt! And he pushes him, and she goes flying through the air.
And then...
And a man like 3 times smaller than Coach Walt lands on the ground, but it's supposed to be him.
Yeah, and so Coach Walt decides to set like almost the whole entire locker room on fire, and guess what? Clark decides to walk through the fire.
He walked through the fire, but didn't get burned. Heroes.
And he's like... Coach Walt's like, how did you do that?
And he's like,
what Clark said.
He's like, milk does a body good. That's why I drink a jug of milk a day. And Jonathan's like, that's my boy.
You're not the only one that...
You're not the only one that takes the heat, Coach. I don't know. He says so. He throws out a one-liner that's not that good. And then Coach Walt's like, ah! And he sets himself on fire and burns himself to death. Hey, our dog's in here now. But yeah, he burns himself to death. Yeah. So that's, I mean, we assume he just kind of gets engulfed and then is gone.
He just disappears.
Maybe he'll return. He doesn't return.
God, I hope not.
He doesn't. So then we go away, we come back. We're back at Luthor Mansion, and here comes old Lionel. He's like, well, Lex, my boy, who did you decide to can this week? And Lex is
he said, I saw what you did. You decided to keep the workers, but cut like 20% like elsewhere. Yeah, and he's like, I told you to get rid of those workers.
He's like, well, Dad, you're just mad because I thought of it before you did. And he's like, nah, Lex, you can't run an empire with clever bookkeeping, my boy.
I did say that. And Lionel also says,
old sport.
This is the first and only time you get to defy me.
Is it? We'll have to see. And Lex is like, that's why you sent me to the crap factory, you old hag, and punches him in the dick. So we go back to the school, and Clark's probably got a blanket on him or something. I don't know. That's what they always do to people in shock. And they're like, man, I can't believe Coach Walt was a crazy dude starting fires and murdering people after he's been here for 25 years. Did you know this was his 200th game? And he won, but he didn't live long enough to see it. Oh,
No,
sweet irony.
See it.
Oh, sweet irony.
They don't know he's dead, Matt.
He got engulfed in flames.
Honey, they don't know
he
that.
He went to hell, Maggie. Okay.
No, he was hell.
We all create our own prison with arms wide open. So then Lana walks in or out. I mean, they're on the field, and she's like, "I quit coffee, Clark."
I quit coffee.
And Clark's like, "Well, I quit football." And she's like, "Don't you just want to scream sometimes?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do." And she's like, "Well, I'm game if you are." And he's like, "Okay." And then they count, and then they both scream, and it fades to black, and it says, "'Cause you're all I want." It doesn't do that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Smallville episode 3, Hothead. What? Yeah, so when Lana...
No, don't say it.
I'm not going to say it, but when Lana drops the coffee and everyone applauds because she dropped it, F all those people, okay? Those people are the worst. They're jerks. And, like, I hate all of them. This is a small town, all right? Her Aunt Nell probably made the flowers for all of those people. And they're like, "Oh, look, pretty girl dropped the coffee." Bunch of jerks. It kind of made me like Lana a little bit. Just a little bit. That ending was really cute.
It was cute.
It was cute.
I'm still...
First time I actually thought Clark and Lana had more chemistry than a doorknob. You know what I mean?
It's true.
But you know who really shined in this episode, Maggie? Lex. I really think Lex was phenomenal. When he was in the coffee shop and he takes the drink of his coffee.
That fake but
it's just foam or whipped cream.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Did she get it right?" And he's like, "Not even close." Just the delivery on that. Mike Rosenbaum.
But I think
great guy.
I think at one point I just looked at you and I said, I think I'm gonna love Lex.
Yeah, I love Lex. Back in the day, like old Lex, early Lex, he's awesome. So that's gonna do it for the recap. So now let's get into the freak of the week.
Major Funky.
So
You're gonna put a picture over me every time. I'm gonna make a funny face.
This is the first time we're doing this since we made the bumper for Freak of the Week, and so now whenever we say it, we imagine the Freak of the Week. Major Funky.
Face.
So this week, of course, the Freak of the Week was Coach Walt Arnold, aka Coach.
Fire.
Well, his powers are fire. Fire? Like, I didn't know if it was... Because he doesn't control fire. He's not like...
he thinks it.
He's not like a fire guy. On X-Men, you know? Bobby. Iceman.
Yeah, Iceman.
Yeah, he's not like that
He's
guy.
not fire, though. Why are you saying Iceman?
No, I'm saying... he fought Bobby. The fire guy. The fire guy.
Yeah.
Fought Bobby. I cannot think of his name. But he's not, so he doesn't like control fire, right? Like he doesn't have a Zippo or Zippo. Zippo? He doesn't have a Zippo and it's like, you know, throwing fireballs at people, right?
Yeah.
So like, I put fire, like that's his power. So, Maggie, so far, our current ranking for Freaks of the Week.
I'm so sorry.
At number 1, we've got Freakazoid.
Yeah.
At number 2, we got Bug Boy. So, Maggie, where would you put Coach Walt Arnold?
I've thought about this.
Oh, okay, here we go.
All right. So Bug Boy, I'm just gonna say he's gonna stay at the bottom.
He will always stay at the bottom.
Freakazoid, I mean, we got somewhat of a background story on him, but I didn't really feel connected to him. Poor guy.
Yeah, he was
like,
a one-off for sure.
But Coach Walt, we got the story with him. You know?
I mean, there's no other person that I knew that they had been coaching for 25 years. I really hope that's not loud on the microphone.
I guarantee it will be.
Probably, I'm gonna hate
I'm
it.
so scared about this.
I
iPad.
have to do audio control on this whole episode. It's gonna be awful.
Well, that's why I've been looking at you. I'm like, please calm down.
So Maggie, where would you put Coach Walt Arnold?
Coach Hotshot.
Is that his name?
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Hothead. Yeah, there we go.
Is that what we're gonna call him?
Coach Hothead.
I mean, I'm just calling him Coach. That's his
Okay.
nickname. Like on this list, he'll be listed as Coach.
Okay, Coach. I say he's number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah.
All oppose. All in favor? All right. Motion passes.
You're neutral?
No, I don't know. I meant to say all agree or something. I meant to vote.
Yay?
Yes. Yeah. So he's number one. So new ranking, Coach at number 1, Freakazoid at number 2, at number 3, Bug Boy. All right, next up. No flats, no tots. Did they break the rule this week?
No, they didn't.
Did they?
No, there's no flying. There's no tights.
Were there?
Matt, he was wearing a football uniform, so no, that's not tights.
Football uniforms can be tight.
But those are not tights.
He was playing a tight end.
That doesn't make any sense.
Obviously, no, they did not break
Quit fighting me on this.
All right. So,
Oh, he did it. He did it. He knocked over the box set.
All right. All right. Next up, DCU references.
You become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it.
So, not a DCU reference, but Dan Lauria plays Coach Arnold.
Yeah.
He also played the dad on the Wonder Years, whose last name was also Arnold.
Oh, okay.
So, again, Wonder Years, not a reference, or not a DCU.
No.
But a reference to a bigger universe, right? They're also both related to Tom Arnold.
Also, did you tell me that Lionel's and Lex's relationship was...
Yeah, so we did kind of... We had a discovery this week, which I knew this, and it would have worked better in last week's discussion, but we'll interject it here. So Lionel and Lex kind of going back and forth. I asked Maggie if that reminded her of anybody.
Which I'm half asleep by this point. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, rich dad, young son, kind of going back and forth with each other.
Bad people.
Yeah, and she's like, no, who? And I said, what about Harry Osborn and his dad, Norman? And she's like, I guess, why? And I began to inform her that Algo Miles Miller actually co-wrote Amazing Spider-Man 2. Not Amazing Spider-Man 2.
No,
just Spider-Man 2. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
They co-wrote that movie. So, there it is. Last week when we were talking about Spider-Man, it really would have come in handy. Were they getting their feet wet with Bug Boy so that they could do Spider-Man 2?
Maybe.
And when you think about Spider-Man 2 and how Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is like, I don't want to have superpowers, Dad.
Yeah.
Talking to Uncle Ben, right?
Yeah.
And he just kind of wusses out and stuff. Kind of reminds you of Clark later on in later seasons. But yeah, it's just like, ugh, jeez, listen to all this angst, Anyway, next up, the Talon mix.
Hey, I like these guys. Yeah. Remy Zero!
That's my favorite one.
Uncle have a CD rolling over me.
I own that CD.
I figured you
about
did.
It FYE. I think I've already talked about this. So this week we had several songs, but I'm going to call out a couple of them.
This episode had some bangers.
It did have some bangers. The first banger it had was Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz. That was pretty cool. That was a good needle drop. Yeah, that was a good stuff. First time I ever heard that song was during the Toonami Midnight Run Special Edition, where they played all the girls' music videos at the time. Also 19-2000, which is good. Next, when Lana's in the coffee shop, we've referenced this already. Bad Day by Fuel. Had a bad day again. I could not understand.
He's available for all live events and parties.
And she swears there's nothing wrong. I hear her playing that same old song. She puts me up and puts me on. I had a bad day again. Said I would not understand.
have a sleeping child.
She's fine. We got the white noise playing.
I know, but that only blocks out so much, and you know that.
Lastly, we had Never Let You Go by
Third Eye Blind.
I'll never let you go. I'll never let you turn around and back. Dude, what a great soundtrack. Like, I don't think none of these songs are on the Smallville soundtrack, the Talon mix. But I might make a Spotify playlist. I bet there's one that already exists. With all the season 1 songs and just crank it to
Didn't
11.
At the end of like every Dawson's Creek or something, they'd say, tonight's episode songs are available on blah, blah, blah.
iTunes?
Or yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I've heard MP3s.
Yeah.
When that was big.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
MP3.
Would that have happened in 2001? The iPod wasn't out yet. Maybe it was like the next.
I don't know. I just remember, I think like my cousin made me watch a couple of Dawson's Creek episodes one time, or was it at her house? I had no clue what was going on, and plus too, she's a couple of years older than me, so like she was more into the teenager, drama stuff than I was at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is the point of this? Where's Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
Oh, because you were wanting to watch Scooby-Doo?
Yes.
Dude. Oh, what if Scooby had appeared in Dawson's Creek? I've never watched Dawson's Creek.
What if Scooby
tried.
had appeared in Riverdale?
I watched like the first season. I was just making sure my microphone didn't cut off. I watched like the first season of Dawson. I don't know. Old show is old,
Pacey.
And there's no superpowers.
Yeah.
Joey was the girl.
Yeah.
Pacey was the guy.
Wasn't it Joshua Jackson?
Joshua Jackson.
Yeah. See, I know
Of
that.
Fringe and Mighty Ducks fame.
And also the Skulls.
And also Urban Legend. Did you know in the film Urban Legends, when
It's about an urban legend?
Yeah, but when he turns on the radio, it's playing the theme song to Dawson's Creek. And he goes, turn that off.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. We went down a road on that one.
Hey, that's what we do. Next week, we will be watching, I believe I remember the name of it, but yeah, I know the name of it.
You looked at it.
Next week's episode 4 of Smallville, is entitled X-Ray.
Ooh, I wonder what power that is.
Is it about a power?
Or is it about Clark's eyes?
No.
That is a power.
I'm confused. The bad guy, his name or her name is X-Ray. Or is it?
That's what I meant at first. And then you
Is
said,
X-ray
is
one
it?
word?
And I was like, it's X-ray.
Yeah, does that count as one word? I mean, Hothead, I don't think Hothead is one word.
I think it's depending on
It looks
whoever.
like Hothead.
It depends on whoever wrote it.
What if we had called it Hothead this entire episode? That would have been hilarious. Oh my god. Okay, we're going to run it back. We're going to redo it. We're going to redo the entire episode.
No, my butt
Looks
hurts.
like we're going back to Smallville. Get ready for episode 3, Hothead. All right. Well, the growling dog means it's time for us to go.
I'm going to keep you around.
Nah, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
joking.
Yeah, hey. So, Maggie, you still happy we're doing this?
Yeah.
Are you excited for next week?
Yeah.
So, would you say this so far is your favorite?
Yeah, this
Or do you
one's
like
so
the
far.
pilot better?
I mean,
the pilot's good.
The pilot's good, but I feel like, I don't know, there's just more detail to people's characters. Like,
Yeah. The people are more likable in this
yes, because
one. Except for Coach.
Yeah.
But even Jonathan's better in this one.
Yeah, I'm still, I don't know.
But he did go to the football game. He's growing.
He's growing.
Them old Duke boys are at it again.
Reminds me of Patrick Duffy.
Well, Maggie, I don't know what happened to you, but I know what happened to Patrick Duffy.
What happened to Patrick Duffy?
Patrick Duffy took a beating. Hey, that's going to wrap it up for us. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And as always,
Have a hopefully awesome day.
bye.